Here's a question that should terrify you. If all money is created as debt when banks make loans, but you have to pay back the principal plus interest, where does the money to pay the interest come from? Stop and think about that for a second. If every dollar in existence was borrowed into existence, but everyone owes back more than was created, where does that extra money exist? The answer is devastating. It doesn't. And that's not a bug in the debt system. It's the core feature. Debt is mathematically designed to be unpayable, and once you see this trap, you'll understand why individuals, corporations, and entire nations can never escape the debt cycle no matter how hard they try. Most people think debt is simple. You borrow money, you pay it back with interest, done. But here's the truth hiding in the mathematics that central banks and the financial elite understand perfectly. In a debt-based monetary system where banks create all money through loans, the total debt will always exceed the total money supply. Always. Not sometimes. Not in bad economic conditions, but always. By mathematical necessity. When a bank creates $100,000 for your mortgage, that's all the new money that enters the system. But you owe back $100,000 plus $150,000 in interest over 30 years. That $150,000 in interest was never created, which means you can only pay it by taking money from someone else, who got their money from debt, creating an endless cycle of monetary musical chairs where someone always loses. This is why the wealth gap keeps growing, why economic inequality is baked into the system, why the cost of living rises faster than wages, why nations drown in debt crisis after debt crisis, and why the next financial crisis is inevitable. It's not bad luck, poor management, or economic cycles, it's mathematics. And if you stay with me, I'm going to prove to you with undeniable logic why debt cannot be paid off in this system, why banking power depends on keeping you trapped, and why understanding this mathematical impossibility is the first step to protecting yourself from a game that's rigged from the start. Ready to see the trap that catches everyone? Let's break down the math that runs your life. Let's start with the fundamental equation that breaks the entire system. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. When a commercial bank approves a loan, any loan, mortgage, car, business, credit card, they create the principal out of nothing and deposit it in your account. Let's use simple numbers. Bank creates $100 as a loan. You now have $100 in your account. That's $100 of new money that didn't exist before, bringing total money supply in the economy up by $100. But here's where the trap snaps shut. You don't owe the bank $100, you owe them $100 plus interest. Let's say 10% interest means you owe $110 total. The bank created $100 but expects $110 back. The Sabio observer immediately asks the critical question, where does that extra $10 come from? The bank didn't create it. It doesn't exist in the money supply. You have to get that $10 from somewhere else in the economy, meaning from someone else who got their money from another loan, with another interest obligation attached. Now multiply this across millions of loans, trillions in credit creation, and you see the mathematical trap. Total debt, principal plus interest, always exceeds total money supply, just principal. It's impossible for everyone to pay off their debts simultaneously because there literally isn't enough money in existence to do so. The debt system is built on a foundation of mathematical impossibility disguised as normal banking. This isn't theory or opinion, it's arithmetic. Every economics textbook will tell you that banks create money through loans, and every loan contract shows interest due beyond the principal. Put those two facts together, and you get an inescapable conclusion. Someone must always be in debt. The game of monetary musical chairs must continue forever, with more debt created continuously to provide the money to service old debt's interest payments. This is why global debt keeps growing exponentially, why governments can never pay down their national debt, why personal debt levels keep climbing, and why the monetary policy of central banks focuses on keeping credit flowing rather than debt decreasing. The banking system doesn't want debt paid off. It mathematically can't function if debt gets paid off. And this leads to even darker implications when you look at what this means for real people. Now let's follow the money to see who wins and who loses in this rigged game. Because the mathematical trap creates a systematic wealth transfer that most people never notice. Remember, banks create the principal but not the interest. So where does the interest come from? From your labor, from your time, from your actual productivity and work. You have to go out into the economy, provide goods or services, and earn money that already exists, which someone else borrowed into existence with their own interest obligation, to pay the interest on your loan. The bank created $100,000 from nothing by typing into a computer, but you pay back $250,000 in real value created by your actual labor over 30 years. This is the hidden finance secret behind the entire modern economy. Banks extract real wealth without creating real value. They're not lending you something they have. They're creating a deposit from nothing, and then collecting genuine productivity from you as interest. It's the most brilliant extraction mechanism ever designed, operating in plain sight while everyone thinks it's normal. The financial elite understood this centuries ago, which is why banking families accumulated more wealth than kings. They positioned themselves as the creators of money through credit, rather than workers for money, and the compounding interest flows perpetually upward to those who issue credit, draining perpetually from those who take credit. Here's where it gets even more insidious. This system creates a permanent debtor class by mathematical necessity. In an economy where total debt exceeds total money, some people must lose the musical chairs game. Some businesses must fail. Some homeowners must default. Some nations must face debt crisis. It's not a moral failing. It's mathematical inevitability. The system requires losers, requires defaults, requires foreclosures, because there isn't enough money to pay all debts. And when defaults happen, the bank seizes real assets, your house, your car, your business, that have genuine value in exchange for digits they created from nothing. They risk nothing, money created at zero cost, and gain everything, real assets with real value. Meanwhile, the cost of living keeps rising, because new debt creation inflates the money supply, making everything more expensive while wages stagnate. The trap tightens with every generation, and the economic inequality grows not despite the system, but because of it. But the most shocking part is what this means for the entire economy. Here's the conclusion that changes everything. This isn't a problem that can be solved within the existing system. It is the system. The debt trap isn't a malfunction of modern banking. It's the operating mechanism. Every attempt to fix the economy within this framework only makes it worse because the solution is always the same. Create more debt. Economic slowdown? Lower interest rates to encourage borrowing. Financial crisis? Central banks create money through quantitative easing, which is just another form of debt. Recession threatening? Government deficit spending, which means issuing more debt. Every solution circles back to creating more debt because in a debt-based monetary system, debt is money. This is why the debt crisis never ends, just transforms. In the 1980s, it was the savings and loan crisis. In 2000, the dot-com bubble burst. In 2008, the mortgage debt collapse. In 2020, corporate debt and government debt exploded. Each time, the solution was the same. Create more money through more debt to paper over the unpayable debt from before. The can gets kicked down the road, the total debt grows larger, and the mathematical trap tightens. We're now at a point where global debt is over 350% of global GDP, meaning the world owes 3.5 times more than it produces annually. That ratio keeps growing, because it must keep growing in a system where debt exceeds money supply by design. And here's the truly terrifying part. The people running the system, the central banks, the financial elite, the banking power structure, they know this. They understand the mathematical impossibility completely, but they benefit from it. So the system continues. Every year of inflation erodes the real value of old debt, making it easier to service with devalued currency, while new loans are issued at current prices, maintaining the extraction mechanism. Every financial crisis wipes out middle-class wealth through defaults and foreclosures, while the financial elite buy assets at crashed prices, concentrating wealth further. The game is perpetual because the people who control the money system profit from the trap, not from solving it. The economic uncertainty you feel isn't temporary. It's the permanent state of a system built on mathematical impossibility. And anyone participating as a debtor rather than a creditor is on the losing side of an equation that cannot balance, unless you fundamentally change which side you're on. So there it is, laid bare in simple mathematics that anyone can verify. Debt is designed to be unpayable. Not difficult to pay, not challenging to pay, but mathematically impossible to fully pay off within the system as designed. Total debt will always exceed total money supply because all money is created as loans, but all loans require interest payment beyond the principal created. Someone must always be in debt. Someone must always default. Someone must always lose, and the system is designed to make sure that someone is you, not the banks, not the financial elite, not those who understand the game. Now you face a choice that most people never even realize exists. You can continue playing the role the debt system assigned you. Perpetual debtor, eternal interest payer, someone working your whole life to pay back money that was created from nothing plus interest that was never created at all. Or you can understand the mathematics, see the trap clearly, and make decisions that position you differently. Because while you can't fix the system, you can change which side of the equation you're on. You can minimize your participation as a debtor and maximize your position as an asset owner, a creditor, someone who benefits from the interest flow rather than bleeds from it. Here's your assignment this week. Map out every debt you currently carry: mortgage, car loan, credit cards, student loans, all of it. Calculate not just the monthly payment, but the total interest you'll pay over the life of each debt. Add those interest numbers together. That sum represents real wealth flowing out of your life into the banking system for money that was created from nothing. Sit with that number. Feel the weight of it. Then ask yourself, how can I systematically reduce my participation in this unpayable debt trap? What assets can I acquire that generate value rather than extract it? How can I position myself on the creditor side of this equation? And if this video shattered your assumptions about debt, if you now see the mathematical trap that catches everyone who doesn't understand it, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Because the next video goes even deeper. I'm going to show you the specific strategies the financial elite use to position themselves on the winning side of this equation, the exact steps to escape debt slavery, and how to build real wealth in a system designed to keep you perpetually owing. The trap is inescapable for those who don't see it, but you see it now. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge?